Hello. All right. We have 3 minutes before we get started. So if you're watching this on the recording, I'm going to pause the recording until we get started. So don't fast forward 3 minutes. But everybody else, if you're here, we got about 2 minutes now before we get started. All right, and according to my clock, it is 2:30 Eastern, so we are ready to get started here. Now, I know 2:30 is a weird time. It's the only real consistent time that worked for me, so I know a lot of you are going to be joining us on your own time, which is actually really perfect because there's going to be times during this call where you go, wait, hold up, what did she say? What was the question again? I didn't have time to really think about it. So there's going to be times where I actually say to you, pause the recording. Think about what you're about to write down, or think about what you're about to commit to, whatever it is. We're not really committing to anything today, but really think about your answer before you commit to the answer. How's that? So that's what I want to do with y'all today. If you don't know, my name's AJ Emery, and I am the coach and owner with 4Leaf Life and Leadership. And we're really focused right now on life. And of course, in our own lives, we can be leaders to anyone, whether it is our children or a team that we lead at work, or just our friends, our peers, or people who don't even know us that well. I've been doing this kind of coaching for a long time. It's coming up on 10 years, and I love it. It's absolutely changed my life, and especially this problem-solving technique that I'm going to show you guys. So if you're a little bit of a nerd like I am, you may like something that you can research a little bit more. So human performance technology. That's the fancy term for what we're about to do. It's the cause analysis portion of human performance technology. To me, it's the most important piece. It's the most exciting piece. And we've simplified it so you don't need a doctorate degree to learn how to use human performance technology. And quick shout out about my voice. It has not come back fully yet, so sorry if it's annoying. With that, I am going to share my screen and show you a couple of things before we dive into step one. There are multiple calls that we're going to be going through. We'll have one today. We'll have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, so all of these calls will be steps. And again, don't worry if you miss one, you do it on your own time. That's perfect. If you're like me and you like to wait to the last second to do things and you want to do it all on the 9th, totally fine. So before I jump into our step one, I just want to show you a couple of things. And we're going to look at my screen here. And this screen is showing part of the 4Leaf Leadership Facebook page. Okay? And down here, you'll see the 4Leaf Life. You'll know it's the right group because it has this particular picture. There's another one out there, I think I've heard. So make sure that you look for the one with the picture. And my house phone is ringing. That never happens. So once this loads, because when my phone rings, my internet goes wonky, which you remember that from like way back when the internet first started? Yeah, my people. Oh, dial-up internet. Oh, I need to use the phone. I need to do my homework. Just kidding. We never had homework on the internet. All right. So once you're in the group, which I hope many of you are, and if you're watching this, you probably are, one of the cool things that we have are units. So each of these steps is going to have a unit attached to it. So right now, you're only going to see the introduction to the group, unit 1, but then we're going to see a unit for each of the causes that we're going to talk about. So each of these will be housed in a unit, so you can always come back and see this for yourself. If you aren't quite sure what we're doing here and you want a few more resources, there's also www.4leafleadership.com. And this will show you everything about who we are at 4Leaf Leadership, how to reach out, how to connect. If you would like to chat with me live, there's stuff in there. We've got our life coaching and our leadership coaching. And really what we're going to do is go through this personal worksheet. So if you want to look ahead and you want to see what's going on before we get to it, That's what this is. This personal worksheet is exactly the steps that we are walking through. So you can jump in. It's on a Google Drive. You just open that bad boy up. Otherwise, you can click on Life Coaching, and there's a couple of blogs here, and you can read some more. So again, if you're a little bit of a nerd like I am and you want more stuff to keep busy with, good. But keep in mind, this only lasts for a week. I am one of those people who gets what a lot of people call analysis paralysis. And analysis paralysis is where we do lots of studying, lots of answering questions, lots of like reflection. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, I haven't taken any action and it's been 3 months and I haven't done anything. So we have a week for that. Okay. On the 10th, we are diving in with action. Okay. So let's take a look at what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to scroll back up so you can see. Okay. So today we're talking about information, data, and feedback, which again, for those of us who enjoy analysis paralysis, we enjoy analysis. This is like the dream right here. So information, data, and feedback. Now this next slide is going to be a little weird looking. I'm going to read it out to you. So don't worry if you're looking at it and going, what does that say? So information, data, and feedback. I'm so glad we're starting with this because it's one of the most common reasons that our problems exist. Okay? It's one of the most common reasons. Most people view information, data, and feedback as something that we do when we're leaders or we're professionals, like I'm a manager or I'm a boss. Then I'm going to give people information. I'm going to keep track of data. I'm going to give feedback. So true, absolutely true, but it's also really crucial to holding yourself accountable and holding anybody else accountable, like your kids, a family member, a coaching client. Some of you on the call have clients of your own. Some of you have friends that you like to help, and maybe you have people that you mentor. But literally any relationship that you have, there is an exchange of information. There's data to keep track of, and there is feedback. So information, this refers to the quality of information being used to identify the problem and solve the problem. So let's talk about that briefly. I did this before I said, what's your problem? What is the goal that you have for our 10-10 to 2020 experience? Because I want to make sure that you pick the right thing to focus on. And those are really loaded words, right? There's no right or wrong thing to focus on. But what I really want is for you not to focus on something that's not really a problem. I had a webinar that I was a part of yesterday on imposter syndrome. And it reminded me how often we think people are thinking certain things about us or believe certain things about us. And then we realize they're not true. Like if you just asked your friends and family if they really felt that way about you, some of them would probably say, most of them would probably say, no, I think you're amazing. I think you're great, right? So information, again, this refers to the quality of information that's being used to identify and solve the problem. Now, this specifically is about the information, not about where it's coming from. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. That's your resources and tools. But what information do you have? So for example, the problem that I am going to be working through with you for 3 months for myself is being a better fitness role model and getting back into my previous identity of being really strong, of being really healthy, making healthy choices, because that's not part of my identity right now. And I use those words very, very carefully. Part of my identity, I have a shirt and I was going to bring it and I forgot. But part of my identity right now is I'm the friend who works out a lot, but I won't say no to tacos or pizza or wine, beer, ice cream. Yeah, there's a lot of things food-wise I won't say no to, but I work out a lot. So information in my case is my measurements, how much I can lift, how my heart rate when I'm working out, things like that. That's the information that I'm working with. And I know where I want to be. And I'm very aware that where I am is where some other people might want to be. And I want you guys to also keep in mind that this is your journey. This is nobody else's journey. You might look at your finances and say, I'd like to be more comfortable. And you may have $5,000 sitting in your savings account and a 401k with 20 grand in it. That doesn't mean that your goal isn't valid because someone else sees what you have as a goal. Okay? So that's all wrapped up in information. Data is the result of tracking. So tasks that we've completed or not completed, are we keeping track of them? So for example, I might keep a food journal. I might keep a workout journal. I might keep track of how much I can lift. It also can be part of the quality of the action taken and the result. So if I teach a class and I just feel awful after that class, am I paying attention to everything around that? Was it something I ate? Did I drink enough water that day? Et cetera, et cetera. And the last one is also really, really important. It's also a little tricky because it can involve third parties, which we can't control, right? We can't control third parties. So feedback. Feedback is timely and it is relevant. Okay? So no fair to me if I'm working on my fitness to say I worked out for 2 hours on Saturday. It's Sunday night. I can have a second helping of ice cream, even though it doesn't fit in my macros. Okay, that's not really timely feedback for myself. That's not timely. That's saying good job for something I did before and then completely going off the rails, right? Or a little bit. I mean, really, that's a little thing depending on the day. It's also relevant. So I'm not going to say, man, I've been working out a lot and this is really great, but I can't fit in these jeans anymore. Okay, well, is that relevant to my goal? Because I know a couple of ladies out there who are big in the fitness world and they can't fit in their jeans anymore and they're happy about it. So is the feedback timely? Is it relevant? We have 2 types of feedback. It is either constructive, which means it starts or stops a behavior. So I want to be really clear about this. I'm going to say it again. Constructive feedback, it either starts or stops a behavior. That does not mean constructive feedback is always a bad thing, okay? So a lot of times people say constructive feedback when they really mean, I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong, but I'm going to do it in a way that's really nice. Constructive feedback is where you get feedback that starts a behavior. So if I give myself feedback, man, I need to start doing yoga for 10 minutes in the morning, okay? My bones are achy, my muscles are achy, I need to stretch more. Okay, that's feedback that my body is giving me that starts a behavior like yoga. Positive, it encourages continuing a behavior. Oh my gosh, this really healthy meal I made was delicious. Positive. Okay, I'm going to continue that behavior. Or I made this food and my husband only ate like half of it, which would never happen. I mean, let's be honest, he makes all the food. He really does. He's a really good cook, which is part of my problem. So it encourages me to continue a behavior if it was a really good dinner. It starts or stops a behavior if maybe the food didn't get eaten. Maybe that was feedback. So feedback can come from you. It can come from you internally. And that's a whole nother thing that we have to deal with is our brains and the feedback our brains are giving us. Oh my gosh, our brains can be so mean. They can be so mean, but they can also learn. Okay, so that's part of feedback, internal. We can also get feedback externally from other people, and that can also, again, be very tricky because we want that feedback to be constructive or positive and not destructive or negative. But because it's coming externally, because it is from a third party, we cannot control it. We can only control how we think about it. Okay, so very, very important. And again, for you nerds out there, you can look up cognitive behavioral therapy, and I'll tell you all about all that good stuff. All right, so this is the moment you've probably been waiting about 14 minutes for, the actual work. So now that you have an idea of the step we're going to go through today, I have some questions for you. And these questions are going to help you, they are going to help you to determine if information data and feedback, or the lack of quality information data and feedback, is causing the problem that you have. For most of us, the answer is going to be yes. Okay? For most of us, I would say 100% of us, okay, are going to have some no's in this, on this page. So there's going to be solutions, and I hate that word, sorry, interventions. There's going to be interventions that we can employ based on these questions that's going to help us with our problem or our goal. Now, I'm going to look into the camera to tell you this. We are not changing anything today. You with me? We're not changing anything today. Okay? What I would love for you to do, if you don't have one already, is grab a notebook, okay, and a pen or a pencil or a colored pencil or a Sharpie marker, whatever you like. Chalkboard, I don't care, stones. So get something to write with. If you don't have one, push pause, go get it. I promise you'll love it. Or handy dandy phone. Notes app, I love using Google Keep. Even if you have an iPhone, you can get it. Google Keep, it allows you to color code. It allows you to make checklists. It's awesome, okay? Google Keep. So whatever is your favorite, or if you wanted to print out the worksheet, okay? We actually have that on the website, again, www.4leafleadership.com. And yes, you have to put the www in. I know, it's weird. The worksheet's there if you are one of those people that says, I'd just rather print out the worksheet and have it in front of me. Okay. Got your stuff? You ready? All right. I'm going to read a question. You get to say yes, no, or not sure. And not sure is a completely valid answer. And I have a couple. I wasn't going to look ahead, but I looked ahead. I have a couple not sures for my own thing. So I'm going to give you time to think about it. And of course, if you need more time, you can pause this, since I think most of you are watching this later. And then I will share my answer, and that will hopefully help you if you're struggling with just deciding between yes, no, and not sure. So question number one, there's a reason it's question number one. Have you defined what success looks like and how you will get there? This includes the actions you will take, when you will take them, how you will take them, and for how long. Okay, so take a moment to think about that. First off, just the first part. Have you defined what success looks like? Personally, I have not. So I'm going to check no right away, because success to me could be, I am currently 175, put that out there. I'm currently 175 pounds. And back when I was in my best shape that I really want to get back to, I was 150, okay? So that's a 25-pound gap. Does success look like 25 pounds to me? I don't know. I don't think so. Honestly, I'm more concerned with what my body can do right now. So when I look at the classes I teach, okay, I have been doing body pump. Okay, body pump is a class with weight training, and I put on 7.5s for my warm up, and I double that so that's 15 pounds for my warm up. I double that for squats. That's 30 pounds. When I was in the best shape, I was doing like 60 pounds, I think, maybe 50, something like that. Okay, so is that what my success looks like? So my answer right now is no. And that's okay. And chances are for you, that may be yours. So I had the joy of reading a lot of your answers for what do you want to work on. And most of us, the answer is going to either be for this one, what have you defined what success looks like, is probably no or not sure. So take a moment to think about that. And if you need more time, hit pause. And if you're struggling with this one, think about it in terms of, so if there were a couple people who said they wanted to be happier. Okay. There were a couple that mentioned depression. There were a couple that mentioned happier times with their family. And so looking at this, defining what success looks like, what does happy look like? Okay. Because happiness isn't 100% of the time, right? We're not going to be happy about everything, and we shouldn't be. But if we want to be happier more often, what does that look like? How often are we happy now? And how many more happy moments do we want to have? Does success look like family dinners 3 times a week because we're having 0 right now? Does success look like having $1,000 in the bank because we have 200 right now? Okay, so what does success look like? Numbers are great. Numbers, if you've got numbers in there, you know you are rocking it out, okay? Now, the big thing here is you do not have to figure out what success looks like today. You do not have to figure it out. All you have to do is say no. How you will get there, we don't know yet. We're going to go through this whole process, and at the end, we will know how we're going to get there, okay? So most of us, if not all of us, are going to say no for this one. Question 2, because we only have 9 minutes left. Are actions taken and lack of action being documented? So in other words, if I eat a healthy meal, am I putting it somewhere? MyFitnessPal. Okay. I have a great friend. She's amazing. She's also a fitness instructor who turned me on to another app called Mike's Macros. And that's another option that I have. But do I use it? Sorry, Kate. I haven't been. No. Oh, I haven't been. So are actions taken and lack of action being documented? For me, the answer is no. So for you, what's the answer? Okay. Do you journal? Do you write down when something went really well or when something didn't go so well? Okay. Now, I know some of you are going to go, yeah, but my brain, it's a steel trap. Give yourself a break. I was at a pool hall last night, because yeah, a pool hall, pool league, not a swimming pool, like billiards. Anyway, and the server came and he took my order and he was writing it down. And one of the people at my table kind of gave him a hard time, was like, you never write stuff down. And he says, today I need to. They put so much stress on our brain to try to remember things. If you write it down, stress just kind of starts to go away a little bit, okay? So if the answer is no, you're not journaling, you're not documenting your actions or lack of actions, your answer here would be no. Again, you don't have to change anything today, just be aware. Do you have a supportive friend, teammate, or coach that is holding you accountable for taking the action that you've committed to? Hi, I'm going to say yes to this one because I have you and you have me. So you can say yes to this one. Now, some of you don't know me, or you might not know anyone in this group, and it is totally fine to put not sure. Okay? Because if you're not sure about us, you may not know if we are supporting you the way you need to be supported. And I hope if that happens, I hope you tell me so we can fix it. But do you have a supportive friend, teammate, or coach that is holding you accountable for taking the action that you've committed to? And hopefully that answer is yes. But for some of you, you may say not sure. That's totally fine. Are you receiving positive feedback and support when you're doing well? Again, external. Are people congratulating you, telling you, hey, you're doing amazing? You are getting this thing called life, specifically about what you are talking about. Or at least, are you congratulating yourself? And personally, this is my first not sure. Because there are times where I think I am too complacent. And I might give myself too much grace when it comes to my fitness level, because I do work out a lot, but I don't eat very well, and I don't push myself when I work out, okay? So I may not be congratulating myself, but maybe I am. I just haven't been very aware of it. And I think I'm getting positive feedback and support, but again, I just haven't been aware of it. So I'm going to say not sure. And the only action I'm going to take now is being sure about it. I'm going to focus on that a little bit this week and listen for that positive feedback, both externally and internally. So take a moment. We're going pretty fast now. Is that a yes? Is that a no? Is it a not sure? Are you giving yourself feedback or getting feedback frequently? Now, this is very similar to the journaling piece, right? And journaling or data is black and white. I ate this many calories today. I got my macros this close. I did this much exercise. I lifted this much weight, etc. Okay? When it comes to feedback, that's a little more soft, I guess. Okay, how did we feel? Okay, how did we feel about what I did? What did we think about our actions? So when you look at that data, I put up 60 pounds in my squat track, which is insane, and I don't know how I've ever done it, and I don't know if I'll ever do it again. Bad thinking. Bad. But if I feel great about that, if I think that's really good, that's feedback. Okay, the 60 pounds, that's data. Last question. Is the feedback, so if you said yes to this one, is that feedback given both verbal and written? So I love this one because let's say you decide tomorrow, when we talk about resources and tools, let's say you decide a coach is a really important thing for your journey. That coach should be giving you feedback both verbally, like we're doing here, and in written form, okay? Which may be email, okay? It's probably email, text messaging, messenger, okay? Messenger pigeon, I don't know. Writing letters, okay? Are people giving you feedback both verbally and in written form? So are you giving yourself feedback in that journal when you're talking about that data? And are you also hearing that? Are you saying, this sounds really silly, but saying it out loud to yourself. So if you're the one giving yourself feedback, if it's all internal, get it out there. External. Get to the mirror. You did really well today. Yeah, you were a rock star. Yeah, you were amazing. You were amazing. So today is not about solutions. Today is all about learning and what we noticed about ourselves, what we are lacking in terms of the information that we have, the data that we're giving ourselves, and the feedback that we're either giving ourselves or getting from the world around us. That's all today is about. So once you've answered these questions, yes, no, not sure. And again, you can always go back to the worksheet. You can always rewind and go back and see the visual that I had up on the screen. But today, just think about this. We're going to talk about solutions, not solutions, interventions. We're going to talk about interventions later. In other words, actions we can take to fill the gaps if you said no to any of this. Okay? If you said no to any of that, we're going to talk about what we can do. Okay? But for today, it's just the yes, no, or not sure. So thank you so much for watching. And honestly, thank you for taking this time for yourself. I'm so excited that you're going to focus on you for the next 3 months. I'm so excited that we get to be there and do this together. It's going to be awesome. Okay? So with that, happy Friday if you're watching this on Friday. Happy whatever other day it is if you are watching it on your own time. And we will see you again next time. So if you are watching live, Saturday, we are meeting at 11 Eastern. So if you do want to pop on, you sure can. 11 Eastern, same Zoom link. We hope to see you then. Bye-bye.